This is I Like Everything Reviews. I just got out of seeing Love Lies Bleeding. Now I'm about to go back in and go see One Life as my second feature, my double feature for today. So I'll see you when I get out. All right, I just got out of seeing One Life. Now, what One Life is about? It's about a British man. This is back when right before World War II was about to begin, and Hitler was starting to start his reign and start taking over other territories and other countries and threatening other countries. So in that time, he threatened he was going into Czechoslovakia and into Prague. And so a lot of people, there were a lot of like families that were fleeing, and a lot of these families had a bunch of children. So they, these are families that had, sometimes 2, 3, 4 kids per family. So, it was just kind of chaos. And, this is the start of them taking the Jewish people away. So it was just this British man. He just felt away, and he was like, we gotta at least try to save the kids. They got so many kids. So what he did, and this is a true story, he basically got all the kids, got as many kids as he could, got them, passports to transport. They had to get adoptees for them until at least the war was over, until they could reunite with their parents again, if they reunited with their parents again, if their parents didn't die over there. And what he did was, in the whole process of the whole story, he ended up saving and getting 669 kids out of Prague and out of Czechoslovakia to England or Britain or whatever it was at the time. But yeah, the whole movie is, he's an old man, and he he's kind of like, he's looking back on it like, oh, it was something good that I did. I don't need to really tell nobody about it. Like, he just kind of kept it to himself. But his wife was the one that was like, listen, people don't like try to be that modest. People need to hear this story. Like, she understood he was trying to be modest about it, but she's like, you did something very big. And he didn't. He was just like, yeah, I was just helping people. Like, he wasn't really taking it serious. But he ended up saving all these kids, and the whole movie's about back and forth from him as an old man, kind of like, seeing what he could do with the material, because he had like a big scrapbook of all the kids he saved and all the documents and everything. So that part of the movie in the present was about him kind of like shopping out what he can do to show what he did. And the other part of the movie was it flashing back to what he actually did, of them going to Prague and doing all these things and getting things together and talking to people and getting rejected by people, and then getting the kids onto the train and getting all these shipments of kids onto the train and getting them to the foster parents out in England. And this is, I don't want to spoil too much about the movie, but I just want to say, man, this good movie. This movie was it flowed well. It was emotional. It was suspenseful at certain times. It was definitely emotional. And let me just say, man, there was, he got the kids out on the train, and I don't want to spoil the movie, but the last train that they had is a very emotional moment. The last train had the most kids that they were going to ship out on that train. And man, that story about the last train it's a doozy. Like, you got to see this movie. Just remember what I said. If you see this movie, One Life, the last train, with all the kids that could get out. Like, there was one point where on one train the Nazis got on they actually got on the train, because at one point the Nazis, they started getting into Prague like heavy. So the organization that was getting the kids out, they had to start like burning their files and all this stuff like that. And one time they went on the train and they told one of the guys that was moving the kids, they're like, what does England want with all these Jews? What does England want with all these Jews? But they didn't touch the kids. They left them on the train. Thank God. Speaking of trains. Yeah. So that's exactly how they got the kids out on the trains. But I don't want to spoil the end either. This is, let me just say, on the scale I usually do, the movie was bad, or I didn't like it, or I thought it was okay, or I thought it was good. I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was legendary, spectacular, whatever the last top tier I would say. And I'm gonna just say I thought this was a great movie. This was a great movie, and it's called One Life. We all got one life, and it just goes to show you what one person with one life can do. This man literally affected, it said at the end of the movie, like over 6,000 lives. He saved over 6,000, even though he only saved 600 some kids, he affected over 6,000 lives. You know, they said, and then, you know, there was a point where, you know, a lot of kids that they were saying like, yo, you can't save all these kids. There was so many more kids that he didn't save. And then they had to say to him at one point, like, you can't save everybody, but just do what you can. And yeah, man, it's a very enlightening movie. Enlightening movie to what we can do as people and the amount of help we can do as one person. Because if he would have never, because everybody else that helped him before, I mean, everybody else who dedicated to help him didn't believe it in the beginning. They're like, we can't get all these kids out of here. Like, how do you expect to do this? And then eventually they got it done. They got a lot of them out. And the funny and the sucky thing is, a lot of the kids that stayed, out of like, you know, they said what, like 5,000 children that got sent to concentration camps, less than 200 survived. Horrible. Horrible. Yeah, we live in a crazy world, man. But yeah, One Life, it was a great movie. I would suggest people to see this. This is a very enlightening, emotional, just eye-opening movie. Yeah, but One Life, I'm Eric-Josiah for I Like Everything Reviews, because I like all the movies I watch, just about. And you guys have a good day or good night whenever time you're watching this. Catch you later.